XRP is up about 7% today and once again testing the $2 level. And that matters, but not for the reason that most people think. Today, I want to break down what this $2 test actually represents and what I'm watching for on the chart, and why positioning underneath the price move is just as important as the move itself. We're going to talk about what to expect next after this $2 test, if we break it, if we don't break it. Again, we're still looking for that 20 to 40% increase due to the supply that we've been talking about in our model. We're going to cover everything, and we're going to talk about how everything we've been talking about the last 2 months has moved us to this point and where we actually need to be positioned as XRP holders. A lot of people have been asking about how much XRP do I need to hold. We're going to cover the XRP rich list today and any new news that's come across, as well as the ETF inflows. So we'll hop into the price first, and I see you all hopping in. As always, once I get through all of the information, we do a live Q&A, and I'll hop into the live chat. So if you're catching the replay of this stream, if you see me hopping in and talking to people, that's why. So let's go ahead and hop into the chart and see what we're dealing with, because XRP's pumping, number go up, everybody's happy, right? So currently at 199.5, and we are aggressively testing the $2 level. $2 is not as important as most people think, but it is important because it is a psychological level. Retail, FOMO, those things apply, but the real level we were looking at was the $1.95 level. We needed to punch through that with volume. That's why this is so important. If you look at the volume on the chart, this is a lot of buying volume. And we've been calling this out for the last few days, saying that tax selling was happening at the end of the year, and we can expect people to re-enter positions once the markets open after New Year's. And it looks like that's what we're seeing now. So we are currently in overbought territory by far. Now, once we get beyond 80, as far as overbought, or on the opposite side, once you get down below 10, essentially, you are in something called price discovery. This no longer matters. We're testing liquidity. We're seeing where sell orders are right now in the grand scheme of things. And we passed through 195. I want to see us hold 195. As long as we do that, it opens us up to 220. And we've talked about this. We've talked about, with the supply math that we've been going over ad nauseum, that a 20 to 40% increase was imminent. We've busted through the 195. We're aggressively testing $2 right now. Once we get through $2, the next leg of this is 220. So if we get to 220, that opens us up to our 20 to 40% price movement. And we can expect another one in about 4 weeks, according to this math model that we have been following. Again, it's lining up with everything we've been talking about over the last 2 months. We triple tapped the $1.77 level, and now we're on the way up. And it's not just XRP. It's the entire market is up today. Everyone is recovering. And a lot of the things we've talked about, HBAR is doing well, Chainlink's up 6%, Algo's up 6%. I mean, the entire market's up. Cardano got a nice pump of 10%, Shiba Inu's at 13%. So the entire market is doing well today, but it's important to notice that Bitcoin is only up 2% today while everything else is recovering strongly. This is normal for altcoins. It just is. So we have discussed the $2 level. I told you guys, I promised you guys I would say what comes next. So if we fail to claim $2, again, I want to see us hold 195. If we don't hold 195, again, EMA is way down here. It's going to pull up and probably tap right about the 195 level. If this comes down, that seems like where the average might be. So I want to see us hold 195, and we can push up. And again, when it comes to technical analysis, I'm sitting here saying this without looking at the chart. When it comes to technical analysis, remember, you can tell yourself any story you want to tell. We always use the 1 hour chart. That's the story we've been saying. Now, if you want to zoom out a little bit, we said this is in price discovery, or I said this is in price discovery, right? When I said once you get above 80, it doesn't really matter anymore till we find a new price. Why I say that? If you zoom out, we always look at the 1 hour. I'm going to zoom out and look at the 1 day chart. So if you look at the 1 day chart, we have crossed EMA with volume, and we have not approached overbought yet. We have a lot of room here. And if you want to zoom out even further, this is where things get interesting. And this is where I think some of the big predictions spark up because of the way XRP works. If you look at the 1 week chart for XRP and we zoom out, okay, this is back in 2024. Okay. At that time on the 1 week chart, you could see it was resting in the middle. It had just come down and it spiked up into price discovery, and we got way up to 288, and it came back down and it was still in that overbought area and came back up again. And that's where we got the all-time high of 336 back after Trump, right? In January. So the same thing happened when we ran up to 369 or 366 with the all-time high. We came down to about the middle and we tapped the top of it on the 1 week chart. So if we follow the 1 week chart, this is pretty much exactly how it has moved in the past. So this is where a lot of people get these ideas that it could jump to a new all-time high. If it follows this same pattern, then we could certainly see it shoot up beyond 360, probably to like 420-ish, if it follows that same pattern. And you see how quickly it can happen on the 1 week chart. This happened over a period of 3 weeks. This happened over a period of 2 weeks. So this can happen very, very fast. So it depends on what story you want to tell yourself when you're talking about technical analysis. So beyond that, we're going to hop into the ETFs, and I want to talk about something very, very important. And that is when people are discussing how much XRP do I need to hold? What's right for me? And I want to really put this into a macro standpoint for you all, because I think a lot of people get frustrated or quit before they even start because they don't fully understand the concept. So we're going to talk about the XRP rich list, what it actually means for the long view of crypto. I want to show you guys a different way. And then once I get through the ETFs and that, we will hop into the live chat. I see you guys are blowing it up. I appreciate it like always. Keep it going. And we will have our hangout when it is all said and done. So without further ado, let's hop back into the ETFs and see what's actually happening. So last we checked, Franklin Templeton was at 116. We checked it before New Year's because I didn't stream yesterday. So we were at 116 million on December 31st. And currently Franklin Templeton is at now at 118 million. So they gained an additional 2 million. Grayscale was at 122 million. See what Grayscale does here. No change for Grayscale, still at 122 million. And thank you for the update, Todd. I see you in there. I appreciate you all. So Grayscale was still at 122, no change. Canary Capital was at 175 million, and they are currently still at 175, so no change for Canary Capital. Bitwise was at 131, they're now at 132, and 21 shares was at 135, and they are now, come on, at 135, so no change for that. So just a few million added, but again, we're talking about over New Year's, not much was happening in regards to the ETFs. So I want to talk about the XRP rich list. A lot of people ask, how much do I need to hold? And I'm trying to put this into perspective for most of you. So this is all the wallets. There's roughly 7.5 million wallets, give or take. I'm not giving you the exact number, but there's roughly 7.5 million wallets. Long story short, if you hold 2,500 XRP, you are in the top 10% of XRP holders. Now, that being said, these are all wallets, right? These are exchanges. These are Ripple. These are institutions. These wallets don't represent individual people. So a lot of these represent corporations, and a lot of those corporations hold many, many wallets. So majority of people fall into this area where they hold, 0 to 1,000 XRP. So if that being the case, remember 99% of people have zero exposure to XRP or really any other crypto outside Bitcoin or Ethereum. So just by being in this space, learning, educating, planning ahead a little bit at a time if you can. Right? Even if you do $100 a month and you're just putting $25 a week into something, you're ahead of 99% of people, at least in my country, the United States. I can't speak for other countries. I don't have that data. So stack slowly over time, do research. Again, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. But my opinion is stack what you can slowly over time. There is no exact number. 10% being in the top 10% and holding 2,500 XRP is a fantastic first goal. And then maybe you work to another goal and you want to hold 10,000 XRP and be in the top 5%. Okay. But really, truthfully, if you get in the top 10% of XRP, and then say you move to get in the top 10% of whatever skill you're working on, and then you move to get in the top 10% of HBAR, and then you move to, get in the top 50% of, people who hold gold, whatever. If you stack the 10%, that's how you become a 1%er. It's over you. If you just keep stacking the 10% year over year and just work to be a little bit better every single year, in a few years, you'll look back and all of a sudden now you're a 1%er. That's how it happens. And people will look at you and say you got lucky. No, you positioned. You positioned your life. You positioned your mindset. You positioned everything ahead of time and worked to a goal. Okay. It doesn't magically happen overnight. But if you just keep grinding and keep stacking what you can, when you can, whether it's XRP, gold, S&P 500, HBAR, Bitcoin, whatever you're into, do your own research. I personally like XRP, Chainlink, HBAR, Ondo, and a bunch of others. XRP is my number one because I think it has the highest return on investment. I believe in it. But that's not what all of my money's into. It's one of the biggest ones. I mean, probably the biggest one's real estate for me. But the point is, if you become a top 10%er, not even a top 10%er, a top 20%er in many fields, that's how you become a 1%er. My opinion, not financial advice. So in other XRP news today, we did have one other thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I'll hop into the chat. You guys are doing amazing. Keep the chat going. But in other news today, XRP whales add 3.6 billion as bullish divergence returns. 3.6 billion in whale buying supports the new bullish divergence on XRP. Breaking $1.92 with strength is the trigger for a confirmed reversal. I was talking about $1.95. Again, when you do technical analysis, you can tell yourself any story you want. This is a different form of technical analysis. And they're saying breaking $1.92 with strength is the trigger. I was saying $1.95. Losing $1.77 risks invalidation and repeats a failed December attempt. I'm saying 175 is our bottom. So we want to break through 190. I'm saying 195. They're saying 192. We've already broken through it. Now we need to hold it and push up to the next leg. If we can't hold it and it falls, again, 175, 177 is our holding point. But it says XRP price is down about 1.1% in the last 24 hours, still carries 8.8% loss over the past 30 days. So this was written before things started going up today. That makes it one of the weakest performers in the top 10, with only Dogecoin posting a bigger monthly drop. Even so, a new shift in whale behavior and a repeat bullish signal have shown up together. If both hold, this could be the first real attempt at reversing the downtrend. Again, our analysis has been on supply math that we are expecting a 20 to 40% increase imminently, which lines up with basically the tax shift, right? Tax selling at the end of the year and then rebuying as soon as the year kicked over, which is what we're seeing now. Bullish divergence returns, trend reversal soon. XRP price action showed weakness from November to December. XRP created lower lows during that period, but the RSI, Relative Strength Index, which measures momentum, created higher lows. This is a bullish divergence. So whenever I talk about RSI, right, price dropping and RSI increasing or vice versa, that's what they're talking about. I guess that's the technical name for it, is the divergence. The same pattern appeared between November 4th and December 1st and triggered a 12% bounce. At that time, the rally failed because the structure did not have support from whale wallets. But what they're talking about is there's been 3.6 billion in purchasing. This time that divergence appears again, but the surrounding conditions look different. We've been talking about a supply crisis, right? Supply being removed from exchanges. And I found another cool stat too. I'll show you guys. So whale cohorts, played the key role in the last divergence attempt failed during the early December bounce between December 1st and December 3rd. Two major groups sold into strength. The 1 to 10 million, we've talked about this, right? The 1 to 10 million XRP wallet holders, they dropped holdings from 4.35 billion to 3.97 billion between November 30th and December 4th. The 1 billion plus XRP wallets dropped, so people who hold more than a billion XRP dropped from 25.34 billion to 25.16 billion during that same period. This time it's flipped. So the whale wallets are now purchasing into this. Okay. They were purchasing into this divergence case. So now what they're saying is that selling pressure is not there. We've also pointed that out with the selling pressure not being there by what's being removed from exchanges over the last 3 months, right? Fallen to an 8-year low of available XRP on exchanges. And when we're talking about wallets and we're talking about what's really out there, okay, I suggest XRP scan to everyone. But if you want to look at XRP scan wallet list, let's just Google it real quick. See if it pulls up here. So you can actually go to XRP scan and you can look at the individual wallets. Everyone who holds XRP should have this bookmarked. You can see everything on here, okay? So you go here, you can see the actual real circulating supply. You can see what's held in escrow. You can see what's burned, everything, okay? And then if you scroll down, you can actually see top accounts by XRP balance, and you can scroll through the wallets. Some of them are labeled, some of them are still private. But when you're comparing yourself on the XRP rich list, right? When you're comparing yourself on the XRP rich list, remember, those 7.5 million wallets are not all people. A lot of them, like Ripple holds mini wallets, Binance holds mini wallets, BitThumb. And you can see if they are labeled, you can see actually what they are holding. Okay, so whales have been accumulating. Escrow went out, 700 million was relocked. Oh, that's another thing too here. You can actually look at escrow. In escrow over here, you can see what's in the wallets, what's actually in escrow. You can see what wallets have pre-purchased escrow. So crypto.com has pre-purchased 83,000 XRP. Again, this is an exchange. They can buy it. Exchanges can buy it from Ripple. So crypto.com, you can see 83,000 of the escrows pre-purchased. So you can see everything on this wallet list. If you are an XRP holder, you need to follow this list. I'm telling you, or not just even just this list, but just XRP scan, because you can go through and you can look at all the metrics. We use this every day, but if you actually go through and look at the metrics, you can see payments, you can see what the different transaction types. One of the things we've been pointing out a lot is the transaction types with this account set activity. We've been checking this recently and it just keeps on spiking. 40,000 a day, except for the weekends and holidays. You know what I'm saying? So activity is ramping up on the XRP ledger. Have we crossed $2 yet? No, it's still at $1.99. So we're going to go back to the not 1 minute. I didn't mean minute. We always look at the 1 hour chart. Go back to the 1 hour chart. We tapped it. Let's see if we can hold 199 for now. But that's all the information I have at this moment. But I'm going to hop into the chat. We'll get the live chat going. Let me know anything, thoughts, opinions. And then once I get through some of this chat, we'll do a recap for anyone who came in late. I appreciate you all coming in. The stream is ramping up. There's over 60 people in here today. So I appreciate that. But without further ado, let's hop into the live chat and see. I appreciate everyone for being here today. The one said, what up? Appreciate you being in here. William and Bonnie said hello. Stephen Haynes is in the house saying Happy New Year. Todd Madison's in the house. William said, finally back in the $2 range. Let's see if we can break it. You know, it'd be great for it to break the $2 range while we're in the stream. That would be fun to celebrate. We've been under $2 for what, a month and a half, it feels like. William, okay, I just answered that. Raul said, Happy New Year. Welcome to the stream, Raul. Race fans in the house. Good afternoon. William and Bonnie said, I feel like 2026 is going to see some great movement for XRP. I think 2026 is going to see some great movement for a lot of crypto. Remember, we just started 2026. We had the innovation exemption for American-based crypto supposedly being released by the SEC this month. Supposedly, we're going to have the new Fed chair announced by Trump this month. There's a potential DAT reclassification on January 15th. They've been saying clarity is going to happen this month. January is going to be massive. And if we take that and just push it aside, pro crypto CFTC, pro crypto SEC, pro crypto president administration, pro crypto, everything's pro crypto. It's going to be a fantastic year once the market comes back around and they're injecting liquidity into the markets right now. That's also one of the reasons why we're seeing this pump. The repo markets are getting, those short-term T-bills and short-term liquidity that the that the Fed is pumping in there right now. Once we get full-blown quantitative easing and potentially another rate cut, hopefully, woo, that liquidity is going to pump the market. I'm looking forward to that. Crypto Roger said, even if I'm wrong, I still say people must have a time budget of around a year from the launch of all the ETFs. I mean, think of it this way, Crypto Roger. I mean, the first one went live on November 13th. So, I mean, really, all of them haven't even been up for 6 weeks. So most of them only have about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks of actual trading in a bear market and a down market during the holidays. And that institutional appetite was still there. We're going to get more ETFs. Vanguard's stuff hasn't even, remember, Vanguard's going to be able to buy these ETFs now. They're not doing their own ETFs, but they're going to be able to buy ETFs. That's not even supposed to start until end of Q1. So that's a $9 trillion asset manager. It's going to start be buying ETFs. We don't have the retirement money coming into any of the ETFs. There's more index ETFs being listed. And again, I think that's where a lot of the retirement money and a lot of the broader money will go, is into the index ETFs to get a broad exposure to crypto. But all of that money hasn't even started touching the market. Think about that. We are in the infancy of this. Patience, folks, patience. I understand we were told we were going to get $100 XRP, $1,000 XRP, all of these things immediately. It takes time, but you're still in the right place. You're still in the right place, but it's not going to make millionaires overnight. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the one to tell people that the pot of gold doesn't exist at the end of the rainbow. We are going to get an appreciation. We are going to get a pump. I don't know how high it will go. I don't think it's going to be $100 or $1,000 anytime soon, but I do believe we're going to outperform the broader market. I can say I believe that with authority. So we're here for the long view. If you've stumbled into this channel, we're here for what crypto and XRP, but what crypto is going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's what we're tracking. That's what we're studying. We're talking about building a portfolio that's going to last us, next 1, 5, 10 years. So we can actually really truthfully retire early and not go broke in the process of trying to get rich. Again, not financial advice, my opinion, but that's what we're here for. That's what the long view is about. So I went off on a little rant there on your comment there, Crypto Roger, but I agree with you. Fishing Man 6559 said, Happy New Year. It's going to be a great one for XRP. I completely agree with you. Desiree said, good morning and Happy New Year. Zeta said, Happy New Year. I appreciate you all for taking time out of your day to be here. And again, if you're here, please hit the like button, engage in the chat. If you want this information to get out, if you want the long view to grow, the best thing you can do is watch and engage. I appreciate every single one of you. Daniel Parker said, good evening from England. Welcome. I've always wanted to go to London. Well, I just want to see Europe in general, but I would love to see London. Let's see here. Brad Dixon says 61 people are in the stream. All right, cool. Stream's going up. I appreciate that. Michael Hoffman said, I've been a lot of buy, not much selling while the price is being manipulated. Again, we've talked about price manipulation. I personally, unless someone can convince me otherwise with some data, I personally don't think there's any more manipulation going on than what naturally happens in the markets with money makers and everything else. I mean, they always try to manipulate the market. I used to day trade the AMD chart a lot. And there's a manipulation candle every single morning. So really, it just depends on what you're considering manipulation. If you're talking about like price suppression, like their intent, like the powers that be are intentionally keeping the price down, I don't necessarily agree with that, because I mean, that doesn't benefit Ripple by any means. The higher the price of XRP, the more money Ripple has. So that's just me. But if it is, I would love to be wrong and see the price to shoot up. Personally, I would love to be wrong in that. Zeta said, absolutely, activity is ramping up. Yes, activity on the ledger is starting to ramp up. We saw the partnership with G Treasury and JP Morgan. Now, again, That's not necessarily going to be direct into XRP, but it is activity coming to the ledger. It takes time. We still need clarity. The banks aren't really going to lean into XRP until we have legal clarity. It's just how it works. Yeshua said, hello, happy new year to everyone. Do you think Jake doesn't believe XRP with all the hate he's getting? I mean, I can't sit here to claim to know what he thinks or doesn't think. All I can do, I mean, how do I put this? Whenever you're looking at what someone is saying, you have to take it with a grain of salt, especially on YouTube, and ask yourself the question, where does this person stand to benefit? Where do they stand to benefit? What are they asking me to do? Well, in this instance, they're asking you to watch their videos. So where do they stand to benefit? You know, I don't want to call anyone a liar or say they don't believe in something because I don't know what's in his mind. I can say this, I believe in XRP. I believe in where XRP is going to go. He has made a substantial investment. I mean, he's made a lot of money off the community, don't get me wrong, but he's built his life around XRP. So if XRP fails, then he's not going to grow. I mean, so it's in his best interest for XRP to succeed. If you see him start pivoting out of XRP into something else, then you could probably draw the conclusion that he's not believing in it anymore, I guess. But I would honestly focus more on doing research and coming up with my own thoughts as opposed to trying to dismiss whether someone else is telling the truth or not. I'll come up with my own opinion on that. Really, the whole thing with him and stuff going on in that vein has just made me not watch because unfortunately you don't know what's real and what's not, and it's gotten to that point now. Raul says he wants to be a 10%er. There you go. So we talked about that, and I'll recap everything too, but we talked about the XRP rich list and we talked about what a good goal would be. And if you hold 2,500 XRP, that would put you in the top 10%. And again, remember, that's top 10% of global wallets. Not all of those are people. A lot of those wallets are businesses or, multiple wallets. So really in the grand scheme of things, if you're here getting XRP, or not even necessarily getting XRP, but if you're here just learning about XRP and learning about the crypto space, truthfully, you're ahead of 99% of people. Let's see. Let me get back in the chat where I was here. Miss Wendy said, what would another government shutdown do? I mean, it's creates fear and uncertainty. The markets do not like uncertainty. The markets like certainty. So if there's another government shutdown, the market will pay for it. Truthfully, I mean, the markets don't like uncertainty. They'll take bad news over uncertainty. Like, truthfully. Blazing Bandit said, what's up, XRP Army? Are we ready? It's coming. All right. I hope it's coming. I hope the pump is on. I would love to see it shoot up. But again, we want to see it pump through $2, hold $2. Again, it's already pumped through 195 with volume. And if we look at the price, it's important to distinguish. Look at this buying volume. This is a good amount of buying volume, consistent buying volume. Now, we might pull back. I would love to see it push through $2, but we just tried twice to get there. Again, though, if you can tell yourself whatever story you want to tell, this is the 1 hour chart. If we go back to the 1 day chart, we still have got plenty of room to grow today. According to this, it looks like if we doubled from here with the size of this, according to this, it looks like it would be oversold or overbought for the day right around 210. So today I could see us, if the positive trend continues and we bust through $2, I think we could see 210 today. If we fail, it could start reversing down to $1.75. That's what we're watching for. So next leg is 210. But if you want to tell yourself a great story, we can always go back and look at the 1 week chart for XRP, expand it out. And if you look at what it's done over the course of time, its pumps are usually about 1 to 2 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks. So could this be the beginning of a 4-week pump? I hope so. And if we were to get a similar pump to say 2024, this was what we went from 44 cents ish to 288. So that is 5x ish. Yeah, roughly a 5x, maybe a little, maybe a 6x. So a 6x from here would put us at $12. So if we were to repeat this, if we were to repeat this exact move, which is kind of what the pattern is showing, to be truthful with you, but if we were to repeat this exact move, it's saying a 6x, which would be roughly $10 to $12. So that's how you see where people get these price predictions from. You can tell yourself whatever story you want with whatever chart you want. Now, back to the chat here. Far Maximus said the 4-year cycle has faded away. I see $3 XRP by end of January and more proof of decoupling from BTC. I think that the DAT reclassifications and the innovation exemption and clarity, like all of this stuff coming in January, could potentially set off like a utility-based decoupling. Or if there's a DAT reclassification and it hurts Bitcoin, we could see a Bitcoin crash decoupling. Like there's a couple ways it could go. But I agree with you. January in general is going to tell the tale. January is a big part of what's going to happen for the rest of the year, in my opinion. Cordell Lewis said, I just left Bed Bath & Beyond and they're accepting 20 XRP for Lavender Breeze Tom Brady shampoo edition. Interesting. So that's $40 shampoo. I'll pass on that. Booker T said most retail will be priced out at $100. Yeah, you're right about that. If it gets to $100, most retail is not going to touch it. They're going to, oh, we missed it. And they'll move on. And that's why I try to explain, like, just do what you can. If you believe in it, do your own research. But if you believe in it, just stack what you can. You're early. You are early. Everyone here is early. Let's see here. You guys just blew up the chat. Let me find out here. Oh wow, the chat is like off the chat. Let me find out where I was here. You guys have blown up the chat. I appreciate you guys. Let me find out where I was and I'll get caught back up to it here. Cordell Lewis, I'm sorry, I regret the terrible punctuation, terrible joke. Okay. Booker T says buy while you can. And again, not financial advice to anyone in here. Blaze and Man said the next big pump will give us our institutional floor. That's what's up. Front running everyone. I hope you're right. I hope we see another big pump. What do you think the next big pump's going to be? When do you expect what price? I saw someone was expecting $3 at the end of January. What do you guys think? When do we see $100? Let me know in the chat. When does everyone think XRP sees $100? I want to know what you all think. I'm going to keep going through the chat here and then we'll recap everything for you. Currently, price is at $1.98.9, so we're still trying to get above $2. Cordell Lewis said this show is fire. I'm glad you like it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, engage in the chat. I stream every day, Monday through Friday at noon. I do shorts with news updates every single day for you all. Far Maximus says, I respect the channel. Good real talk, no hype. That's what I do. I am not a hype guy. I'm growing slower and I'm undiscovered because I'm here to be a real XRP guy. I'm just like you all, and I'm trying to not give you the hype and say what's gonna happen. Like tell it how. Again, not financial advice. It's what I think, my opinion, but give you the real news, what it really means, where we're really at, and grow something over time. Because I'm trying to get out of the get rich quick crypto mindset, hype mindset that so many people got sucked into believing, and bring a more traditional mindset, a more old school mindset to crypto, and build it over time, because people are still here early. You're still here early. So let me get back into the chat here. So I'm glad you're enjoying the show, Cordell. Hit subscribe, man. And Far Maximus, you as well. Kevin Cleary said, not if what they hold in escrow is already sold to institutions. That doesn't hurt Ripple. Well, we actually went into the accounts and you can see what wallets are holding pre-purchased escrow. Let me pull it up for you. So everyone who's an XRP holder should hold XRP scan, or you should bookmark XRP scan. Okay, this is just one of the features here. This is XRP scan.balances. You can see the balance of every single wallet on the XRP ledger. Some are labeled, some are not. You can see Chris Larson's, you can see eToro, you can see Upbit, Binance. And if you scroll down, you see this number over here. That's from this column. This is what is in escrow. So these are escrow Ripple wallets. And you can scroll down and you can see like this one right here. Flare Core Vault has pre-purchased 80 million of Ripple's escrow. Okay. So Flare Core Vault. Crypto.com has 50. So you can actually go through here and see what's in escrow. These ideas about them dumping on the market and all this has been a narrative since 2017. The story hasn't changed. You need to know what you hold. You need to know the risks. So you can actually go in and look. You can go in and see the payments. You can go in and see the account set activity. Know what you hold. Or bookmark XRP scan. This is your leisure activity for all of you. Now back into the chat. Let's see what we got going on here. Daniel Parker said London is basically a small New York these days. Okay. Well, I'm honestly more about the culture in Europe. I want to see it all, man. I want to see England. I want to see Italy. I want to see France. I want to see Sweden. I want to go. Well, used to be big on Amsterdam. I don't have to be anymore, but I would still love to see the culture. I'd love to go to Greece. I know that's not Europe per se, but I want to travel, man. I want to see everything. That's what I want to do with my money. If XRP appreciates, I'm traveling. That's where I'm going. Blazing Bandit said clarity's supposed to be coming within the first 1 to 2 weeks. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we've been hearing a lot of it by mid-December. Well, there's a meeting mid-January on January 15th is the next time they're supposed to talk about it. So hopefully we get it by the end of the month, but the next meeting is mid-January. I did see that. All American Breakers said go Chiefs. Columbia, Missouri here. All right, welcome. I'm actually in Grain Valley, Missouri, if you know where that's at. It's near Kansas City. I've lived in the Kansas City area. Well, I moved to the Kansas City area in 1989, and then I left in 2005 when I joined the Air Force, and I moved back to the Kansas City area in 2013. So, yeah, no, 2015, I moved back to the Kansas City area. But I love Kansas City. Love this area. Blazing Bandit said he's ready. 63 people in the stream last time William updated me. I appreciate that, William. A lot of people think you need to invest hundreds of dollars every time, but $25 a week or a month will add up over time. I 1,000,000% agree with you. And one of the things I'm actually going to start, I'm working on getting it set up, but one of the things I'm going to start is I am going to start a live long view compute wallet. And I'm going to demonstrate everything that we talk about here on the channel: dollar cost averaging, research, knowing what you hold, creating the 4 pillars, right? We talk about the 4 pillars here a lot. 4 pillars is 4 investments that you believe 100% in, no question in your mind, that you're going to put money into every single week, every single month. And regardless if price goes up and down, you have already made a plan for the next 5 to 10 years for that asset, whatever it may be. But we've talked about the 4 pillars and then having your dartboard. Okay, not just crypto. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that idea and apply it strictly to crypto. So I'm going to create 4 pillars. We'll have 4 cryptos that we are mainly focused in, and $100 a week is going to go, or not $100 a week. Yeah, $100 a week. No, $100 a month. That's what it was. $100 a month is going to go into it. I believe that when you're working, one of the first things you need to do, the first thing you need to do when you get your paycheck is pay yourself first. 10% of your paycheck should be paid to your future self. It should be invested into something that's going to earn you more money before you do anything else. That should be the first thing. And then base the rest of your life off of that 90%. My opinion, not financial advice. But yeah, one of the things I'm going to do is I am going to start a portfolio for Longview Compute, and we are going to build it slowly over time and demonstrate what you can do in a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road. I think it'd be really cool if we do $100 a month. It's only $1,200 a year. But if I do $100 a month and we spread it out like we're talking about to see what that can actually turn into in 10 years, I think that would be a really cool example. Long example, but a really cool example. But that's how it works. And that most people are here for initial gratification, unfortunately. Blazing Bandit says holding tight at $1.98, $1.99 though. I'm happy we just about to get started. Well, I mean, I'm looking at, again, imminent based on my supply math model. If you're new to the channel, my prediction was a sell-off due to tax purposes into the end of December. And then as soon as we flipped, it would start turning to buying pressure, right? So people can re-enter their positions. And then based on the supply math, we're looking at a 20 to 40% increase imminently. So they both stack on top of each other. And then when we hit actually a billion XRP removed into ETF trusts, we remove that much more from supply, then the next leg of the another 20 to 40% increase should be imminent at that point. So we should see, based on the math model, 20 to 80% increase by the beginning of February. Again, not financial advice. The one says, I don't think he has any XRP of his own, if you know what I mean. Oh, you don't think Jake is actually holding XRP? I'm not sure. I mean, we never know. He's not putting his wallet out there for everyone to see. But what can you do? That's why we have to do our own research. We have to use our own mind and come up with our own opinions that we believe in, regardless of what some joker on the internet says, myself included. You don't need to listen to Mr. Clean on here. Let's see here. Duana. Okay, Duana Rose says, so it goes up to $1.99, now $1.98, not that there. Now $1.98 and it's pulling back. Good night. How come it's not booming? I bought it around 318. It takes time. All right, this is normal market behavior. I mean, it'll go up when it's ready to go up. I mean, why are you here? Are you like, what do you think it's supposed to be? I know you bought it at 318, but did you buy it for the infrastructure? Did you buy it because you were expecting it to go to $100 this year? You know, what's the actual expectation for your XRP? That's the real question. Zeta says, I'm so ready for a great year ahead for XRP and other altcoins. Utility coins, I think, are going to have a great year. Again, my opinion, but I think utility coins are going to have a great year this year, Zeta. Jinxie says, from Australia, woke up for a pee, send my phone XRP, and can't go to sleep. Now 2:30 a.m. Well, hopefully my voice doesn't bore you to sleep, but thank you for joining us, Jinxie. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Blaze and Bandit says, subscribe, like, and share. Let's all learn together. Great stuff here. Thank you, Blaze and Bandit. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's my goal. Honestly, is just talk, educate, like get out of the hype. Bring it back to reality. That's the goal. Blaze and Bandit said, yo, XRP, XRPB, RXRP, DXRP, Gold, XRPL. Hold until you're okay. So you're stacked up. All right, man. You guys have blown up the chat. Okay, let me see where I'm at in the chat. I'm gonna have to take a break from chat and do a recap for everyone who came in late here. So I'm stopping with Ricky Ricardo Films. I should be able to find that one. Let's do a recap real quick for you all who came in late. So if you're coming in late, we're talking about testing the $2 level today, and we're talking about all the different stories you can tell yourself. So let me get back to the 1 hour chart first, because this is what we follow. So we've made it all the way up to 199.7, tapped it twice. So we still haven't broken through the $2 level. We've stretched out over EMA. We've stretched out over RSI. So a bullish divergence, if you will, is where we're in the case right now. So my initial goal was we needed to break through 195 with volume. We did that. Now we need to hold 195. If we can maintain the 195 level, and these are resistances based off of my research and my technical analysis. Everyone has their own. So I have to stick with mine, because if I keep changing it, you can tell yourself whatever story you want with technical analysis. So you have to stay concrete to your story. So with mine, I called the 195 level. If it falls below 195, then my theory based on the chart was disproven, and that opens us up to fall back to our established support of 175 to 177. If we hold 195 and push up, it opens us up to 220 for the next leg. That's what I'm focusing on. So that's why $2 level is so important. It's not necessarily the $2 level exactly. That's more of a psychological level, but really those are the numbers that I'm paying attention to. And when we say you can tell yourself any story when it comes to technical analysis. So if we actually zoom out to the 1 week chart and you look at what's happened with XRP in history, and you look at the chart, you look at the RSI, see where RSI has been and how quickly it can accelerate, and you look at these patterns and how quickly they can accelerate, we seem to be in a very similar pattern as we were over here. Okay, this pattern looks eerily similar to this pattern. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but if this truly is a reversal based on the 1 week data and we get to that 220, you can see how this opens us up to new all-time highs, to potentially $455. Because if you look at this action, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, these are 1 week candles. If you look at this action, it's going to happen fast. It will be a price discovery. Once you get into this overbought area and you're over 80 RSI, it doesn't matter anymore. Now you just see where it stops. So hopefully we can see it unlock into that area. And if this does move up, you can look at this RSI based on how much it's moving. If it does move up, you can see the type of range we're looking at moving to. It'd be somewhere up in this ballpark area. Again, not financial advice, but that is why the $2 level is so important, and what we've been focusing on with supply shock, with what's actually being held in ETFs, and why we keep an eye on the entire crypto market. The entire crypto market is up today. XRP is up 6%, HBAR is up 7%, Algo is up 7%. And again, a lot of the ones I watch, XRP is my main one, but I also like HBAR, Chainlink, Algorand. I have a little bit of Flare, Cardano and Midnight, XLM. I have some Quant. I have some Avalanche. Anything Ondo, anything tokenized, anything involved in tokenization, has real world adoption, real world partnerships, I dabble in, to say the least. Now, I am all about pillars, okay? So my big three, though, my big three crypto that I focus on are XRP, Chainlink, and HBAR. Those are my big three. Those are the ones I'm focused on the most. That's where I have most of my weight in, with XRP being the biggest. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. I used to hold Bitcoin. I cycled out of Bitcoin. So moving on, we covered ETF inflows. We have 118 million in Franklin Templeton. We basically, instead of going through all of these again, between all of the spot XRP ETFs, we gained 3 million into holding. I'll keep it easy for you. Between the 5, we gained an additional 3 million. And we check this every single day in stream. I live stream every single day, Monday through Friday at noon. Okay. You can also follow me on X at Longview Crypto. Some of you have been following me. Been starting to get a lot of follows lately. Whenever I go through and find things I repost that I think are interesting, updated news, ETFs, all of those things. So you're welcome to follow me on there as well. And then we discussed what's actually happening on XRP Ledger. Everyone should have XRP scan bookmarked if you hold XRP. We're talking about the XRP rich list and what you really need to hold, okay? What truthfully makes you a top 1%er, right? So if you want to be in the top 10% of XRP wallets, you need to hold 2,500 XRP. But bear in mind, this rich list is not all people. The 7,500,000 wallets are not all people. They are mainly multiple wallets to exchanges, companies. Some people have multiple wallets that only have 1 or 2, right? So think about it. There's 3.5 million wallets that have 0 to 20 XRP, okay? And of these wallets up here, most of these are not people. Those are companies, institutions. So if you want to be in the top 10%, 2,500 XRP. If you want to be in the top 5%, then you need to get to about 10,000 XRP. But truthfully, the fact that you are here at all, learning, if you hold any utility coins or crypto for the future, if you were doing any of those things, you're already in the top 1% of real people messing around with crypto. So don't think if you don't have hundreds or thousands that you're late. We are in the infancy stage. We are in the infancy stage of cryptocurrency in this market, okay? Think about it. That's like predicting when Time Warner first came up and AOL just first came up, when the internet was booming, when you first got that, you got mail, right? It's like trying to say it's over then for the internet. It was the beginning. This is the beginning. Most people at this point in crypto, if you want to compare it to the internet, most people in crypto don't even know that AOL exists. If you think about it in the internet crypto, time frame. So you're still early to the party, everyone. I promise you. Now I'm going to get back into the chat. Ricky Ricardo said, in XRP we trust. I appreciate you being in here, Ricky. Jinxie said, seen my phone, XRP up. Now I can go to sleep. Want to be there when it's blowing up. Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to catch the wave, right? It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy to see number go up, right? It's good though. We've been getting beat up for a long time. It's good to see number go up. I think a lot of people can breathe a little bit easier if they stop seeing red all the time. Expensive shampoo next year. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I mean, expensive everything by next year, blazing. Inflation. Now, if they're turning the printer on this year, which they will, it's still going to take about 3 years for us to feel that inflation, right? So like all the inflation we've been dealing with for the last 2 years is because they turned the printer on back in 2020. So they're about to turn the printer on again. So here in another 2 to 3 years, we'll see some higher inflation again. But that's why you need to prepare for it. We understand now. We're getting ahead. We're learning our lessons. You have to do it slowly but surely, but you'll be more prepared next time. Let's see here. Zeta says, I keep the XRP and pass on the shampoo. So they're talking about being able to buy shampoo at Bed Bath & Beyond with XRP now. Kirk Graham says, we got to back test before we really shove through $2. Yes, I agree. My line, Kirk, was $1.95. I wanted to pass through $1.95 with volume. $2 is more of a psychological level for investors. We did pass through 195 with volume. I want to see us hold it. And again, we're stretched really far away from EMA on the 1 hour chart, which is what I follow. So right now, according to my analysis, we tapped 199.5 twice, couldn't break through $2. I see us pulling back to 195. We need to hold 195. And if we do and we get another push, then we could see it go through $2. If we do that, it opens us up to 220. Again, not financial advice. It's just what I'm seeing in the chart. 70 people in the stream. Awesome stream, guys. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe. We'll keep going as long as the chat stays active. Engage in the chat. I'm talking to everybody. Jabez says he's back. He missed some episodes. Welcome back, Jabez. You can always catch the replay. Cordell Lewis said, what are my top 5 crypto investments? I kind of answered this already, but I mean, my top 3 are XRP, HBAR, and Chainlink. And then the rest of it is more like dart throws per se. I have a little bit of, and they're dart throws at utility tokens. Okay. I have a little bit of Ondo. I have a little bit of XLM. I have a little bit of XDC, a little bit of Flare. What else? Quant, Cardano, and Midnight. I'm not sure if I'm missing one right now off the top of my head, but I probably hold about 10 to 15 different cryptos and pre-sale things, but the bulk of my investment is in XRP, Chainlink, and HBAR. Hopefully that answers your question. Corey Anderson said overnight sometime. Not sure what that is. Raul said, I think next year it will hit $100. Okay. So I asked earlier in the stream when people think XRP will hit $100. Raul said he thinks it's going to hit $100 by the end of next year. Blaze and Bandit said $100 by end of January, maybe. I would love for that to be accurate with, yeah. I mean, we are going to get a lot of things. We're going to get clarity. We're going to get, all kinds of stuff. John Beal says $100 on December 21st, 2012. So are we going to go back in history? I want the DeLorean. Where are you at? Race fan said $100 by 2030. Okay. Pear Brothers just said Doge, so I guess he likes Doge. Yeshua says, once XRP hits 3 digits and clarity is in, would XRP ever go down in price again, or will it stay or grow? Well, I think we'll actually be able to answer that better when we see how it gets to $100, right? I mean, if it were to go to $100 and become established that way, we will have a much clearer understanding of what it is, what Ripple is, what the ledger is, what's happening with blockchain. That's why we follow our investments. That's why we research. That's why we look at news, because as things come up, it can change our mindset, right? Um, so this is why we do our research and know what we hold. So could it? Yeah, I mean, it could. Something could change down the road, but we'll have a lot more information to make that decision as we get closer to that. So I hate to take the cop out of cross that bridge when you get to it, but let's focus on getting it to $100 first. But we'll have a better understanding of what's going on with it at that point once it gets there. Again, all of this is my opinion. None of it's financial advice. Gadados said, this market is being manipulated. When the currency tries to appreciate above $2, it falls. I mean, it could be. It could not be. Again, I personally believe it's not being any more manipulated than any other financial market. Money makers have billions. They're going to do what they do to try and make their money. They don't care about us. William Ambani says $100 by 2027. Okay. I would love for it to get to $100 2027. Daniel Parker said, Greece and Italy, you won't go wrong. I would love to go there. I'm a beach guy. I love warm weather. Like Greece just looks so beautiful to me. Like, I'm sure there's cold parts too, but like the beaches, and it looks like a tropical paradise down there. Race fan said this year $15 to $27. Okay, that's a great one. Todd Madison said, during one trip to Europe, I visited 17 cities with 13 countries in 4 weeks. That's a hell of a trip. I want to do something like that, Todd Madison, for real. Obmad says, you can actually lock your own XRP and escrow on the XRPL. There you go. So that answers that question. Oh, I moved my thing here. Hopefully you guys still see me okay. I moved my screen. Let me fix that. Boom. Let's see here. All right. Dennis XRP said sold some silver and put it into XRP. It's about all potential ROI. Yeah, unfortunately, you'll just have to take the tax hit on the silver. Hopefully it'll balance out for you. But yeah, you still have to take the tax hit, unfortunately, on the gains. Fisherman said, come on, people, give this man some likes. Again, yeah, if you guys are here and you enjoy the non-hype content, the best thing you can do to help me is watch and engage. Likes, chats, comments if you're watching the replay. Subscribe, obviously. And I do streams Monday through Friday at noon every single day, as well as shorts updating you with the news as it comes out. That's all I do. Abmads, excuse me, I skipped over a couple here. Black Maroon said, don't see XRP above $5 to $10 in 2026 tops. Okay. Hey, everyone's got their own opinion, but I mean, $10 is still a 5x appreciation on where it's at right now. That's not a bad return on your investment. Cordell said, what if Jake Claver and Jake from State Farm were the same person? You ever think of that? You've been watching too much Tropic Thunder, Cordell Lewis. They're not Robert Downey Jr., man. If you get the reference, you know. Abmad says, retail investors know what hold. It's going to take some time for XRP to blow. XRP is not a meme or speculation. It's infrastructure. I agree with you. It is infrastructure 100%. Black Maroon says, I'm accumulating XRP when it hits my target price in the red, but more concentrated on quant right now, accumulating on and Hedera. Okay. Yeah, everyone's got their own way. Again, know what you hold, stack over time, dollar cost average, be in for the long view, not the daily price movements, and you'll get somewhere. Again, not financial advice. I have to say it. Kenny Stallone said, hello, sir. Happy New Year and you and your family. So I asked you about ETS last week, and so purchased some XRPC. Very, very happy for what I'm seeing with the 5-cent bump. It's crazy. Thank you. Well, again, none of it's financial advice. I hope you did your own research and didn't buy because of anything I said. But do your own research, and I'm glad you got a return. I'm glad things are looking good for you. Abmed said XDC quant are nice. I agree. XRP to $100 in 2028. Okay. And again, if you're coming into the stream, I'm going through the chat right now. I've gone through all the information, but feel free to engage in the chat. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions, we discuss it all. Once I get through all of the information, I'll go through the chat, and then I do a recap for everyone who came in late, and then we turn into an XRP hangout as long as the chat will go. And we've done that. We're all talking right now. Let's see, where was I? Black Maroon says quant is king for connecting everything. Interoperability is going to be a huge piece, and that's why I started messing around with quant. I do have a little bit of it, and that's also why I got into Cardano for the security and privacy piece of Midnight. Interoperability is going to be big. I'm really paying it. So 2025 was the year of acquisitions for Ripple and the year of stable coins. I think that 2026 is going to be the year of utility coins and the year of interoperability when things actually start getting used. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. But I do think by Q3, we're actually going to start to see some real utility happening with crypto. Race Fan says stacked 4 bags of XRP. Will sell 1 bag, 13 to 18, second 25 to 37, and third at 50. Last one I'm not selling. Okay, hey, you have a plan. That's the way that's the way it should be. You've done your research, you know what you hold, you came up with your plan, you're good to go. Any thoughts on Canton and Plume? I'm looking into Canton right now. I don't have full thoughts on it, but I am looking into it since they are tokenizing the DTC with BlackRock, and Canton are like BlackRock's invested in Canton, and I'm looking into it. I don't have the info yet. Canton's a very interesting thing for me. Plume, I'm not 100% sure yet. I honestly don't even know what that is, so I can't really give you advice on it. But Canton, there's definitely some potential I'm looking into for sure. Black Maroon said over ledger is huge. Yes. And he's talking to Quant, I'm assuming. The 1692 says XDC will be massive. Do not sleep on it. I'm holding some XDC too. And that's the thing. We don't know what all the winners are going to be. There are going to be multiple winners. It's not going to be just one. That's why we do our research and diversify, and we dollar cost average in over time, and we do our research and we stay up to date, right? We're here for the long view. We're here for the long view of crypto, not just XRP, but XRP is a main focus here. But we're here for the long view of crypto. What's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not what the price is doing today or tomorrow. Although today is a great day as we retest that $2 mark. Let's see here. Troy Mitchell said 1 billion XRP released from Escrow. Why would price rise with supply influx? Because when Escrow is released, it's not released onto the spot market. It's done through OTC deals with Ripple to potential business partners, exchanges, things like that. It's not, they can't go out and sell it directly to ETFs. Okay, just because $1 billion is unlocked every month does not mean $1 billion is flowing onto the market every month. They relocked 700 million of it yesterday or today, this morning, something like that. But 700 million of it was relocked. So of the $1 billion quote unquote dump everyone misleads people about, only 300 million was actually released into supply, and it was already claimed by business partners and exchanges and things like that. Let's see here. So hopefully that answers your question, Troy. There's a lot of misinformation about what happens with Ripple's Escrow. Just because they release $1 billion every single month does not mean they're dumping $1 billion onto the market. Usually on average, 700 million of it is relocked. Yeshua said, can you explain the demand shock, please? The demand shock. Okay. You mean supply shock? I'm not the demand shock. My supply shock model, if you're asking about my supply shock model, I can certainly explain it to you. That's what I can speak to is my model. So what I did, let me explain this model to you for any of you who don't know. I took all of the XRP that is held in ETF trust and divided it by the amount of days that the ETFs have been active. Okay. So over the course of the ETFs, and this was, what was this? Christmas Eve, I think we did this. But over the course of that time, it was 25 consecutive days of inflows. 600 million XRP was locked into trust with 24 million XRP per day. Okay. I overlaid that data with the actual chart of what's happening with XRP in AI, and it created this right column over here that you're looking at. Let me move it over here so you can see. and it created this right column. Okay, so we are losing, if based on a $5 billion supply. Okay, so roughly we were hearing there was about, at this time that we did this, that there was roughly $2.6 billion of XRP left on exchanges. So I came up with a rough number of 5 billion. I figured that would be a safe number. So it's saying after a 5 to 10% depletion, it'll cause a 20 to 40% increase in price. Okay, so it's expecting another, which we have already hit the first one. So a 20 to 40% increase was imminent, which I believe is what we were seeing right now as we moved out of tax selling. Then it says another 4 to 8 weeks, once we get to 700 million to 1.3 billion, we're going to have another 20 to 40% increase. Why? Because it's a volatility expansion based on supplies, based on this chart that we were looking at. So that is where that whole model came up. So I do think we'll see an 80% increase from the time I did that, which I think it was like $1.80. So I am expecting an 80% increase between now, or $1.80, and mid to end February. My opinion, not financial advice, but that is what my supply shock model is based on. Hopefully that answers your question. The one says it's 100% manipulated. Two-layer Ralph says, why is Doggy Coin up twice as much as XRP? I don't have the answer to that question. I mean, it's based on buying and selling. So if you look at Dogecoin, they're up 10.7%. I mean, why is Little Pepe up 30%? Well, why is Zcash down 7%? It has to do with what's actually happening in the charts individually. So there may have been more room for growth in the Doge chart. Doge took a bigger hit than XRP did. You know, they lost more. They had more losses over this sell-off period, so they have more room to grow. It's not as black and white as this did this, so it goes higher. This price stuff is a lot to do with stuff that's happened months ago, more so than stuff that's happening today. Hopefully that answers your question, Tulare. John Bale said, I'm using it as savings account as long as it beats inflation. I'm good. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. That is a great way to do it. Kenny Stallone said, no, I definitely did my research, brother. Okay, good for you, man. Good for you. Bishop said, Zcash is another money maker. It has a lower market cap than XRP, but Zcash is $488 a token. Yeah. Well, and it's also gone up 800% in the last year. Year to date, I mean, it's not good. Yeah. So year to date in the last year, they're up 740%. Traditionally, that is not the best time to buy, unfortunately. When things are down 60, 65, 76, you know, when things are bleeding, that's typically the time to buy. But people are like, oh, Zcash is doing well, I should get into that. And then it goes down. Or when XRP was at all-time highs at 360, everyone's hearing about it. Oh, XRP is going to the moon. Jake Claver told me it's going to be $1,000. Or so-and-so said this, or so-and-so said this. And they buy it, and then price goes down because they're getting into it without knowing what they're holding. That's FOMO. I mean, that's the definition of FOMO, unfortunately. Any thoughts on Bitensor, Tau, or their subnets? No, I don't right now. Stephen Hayes said live stream tomorrow. Yep, I'll be live streaming tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, I'm probably gonna live stream tomorrow at noon anyway, Stephen. I'll live stream tomorrow. I like streaming better than videos anyway, personally. Abmad said the XRPL is awesome. I figured out a way to gain XRP as the price drops. DeFi on the XRPL is the way to go, in my opinion. Lending and borrowing is happening. Yes, it is. It has gone live on the XRPL. Do your research. Make sure you're making safe investments. But DeFi is up on the XRPL. I hold majority XRP, some HBAR, XLM, ADA, Chainlink, Algorand, Avalanche, and Zcash. Okay, Zeta, that's a good bag. That's a good bag. George Evans said, how's it going, bro? Almost missed it, but I'm here. Hey, thanks for joining, George. I appreciate you stopping in. I appreciate everyone for stopping in. And if you made it to the chat and you made it to the stream, please hit the like button, engage in the chat, leave a comment. I appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. Black Maroon said, all meme coins will disappear. Eventually, I agree. I 1,000,000% agree with that. Anything that doesn't have utility will eventually go away. because the meme coins are getting replaced with, the betting stuff, all the betting stuff. That's one of the reasons why the crypto market's hurting right now, and the altcoin cycle is hurting, because a lot of people are getting into whatever they're called, all the betting stuff that's happening right now. Memes are here to get you out of the real value asset. Memes are gambling. That's exactly what it is. Troy Mitchell said Japan SBI is building XRPL infrastructure. SBI Group using XRPL based financial solutions. Utility at its finance. Independence from USD and forthcoming liquidity issues. Yes, Japan is building on the XRP ledger. I have done quite a few shorts on that one actually too, and that's why I have said multiple times in stream that I think we're actually going to see XRP ledger turn on in Asia before we actually see it happen in the United States. Unfortunately, we need to get clarity going, but they already have Ripple. Ripple is really, really sunk in with Asia. They have full approval from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. SBI is partnered with Ripple. They're heavily involved with Japan. They're heavily involved in Africa. They have major corridors, but people don't hear about it because it's not US based. So really, once we get some clarity and they can actually start using this stuff at scale, they're plugged in and ready to go. That's why I invest in XRP. That's just me, not financial advice. But I've gone through the entire chat twice. I've done the recap twice. I appreciate every single one of you. I think we're at the end of it this time. Thank you for taking time out of your day with me. Make sure you hit the like, smash subscribe. Come see me tomorrow. I'll be here at noon tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be here on Monday. But I stream every day, Monday through Friday, guaranteed at noon. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Later.